Hi, my name's Derek and I'm an advisor on Contact's free helpline. This short video is one of a series looking at different aspects of claiming Disability Living Allowance, otherwise known as DLA for short. Now, DLA is the main benefit for disabled children, and this video looks at completing the first 13 pages of the Child DLA claim pack. Now, the first 13 pages are probably the easiest part of the form to complete. These pages don't actually ask you for detailed information about your child's care needs or about the difficulties in getting around. Those parts come later in the form. Instead, these initial questions ask for information about your child's name, their address, their date of birth, and other more straightforward things, and also request details of the professionals that are involved in supporting them. Question 4 asks if you have a reference number for your child. Don't worry if you don't know this. If this is your child's first claim for DLA, they won't actually have a reference number yet, although one will be allocated later as part of the claims process. Now, there are questions on the form asking whether your child has a terminal illness. If your child does have a terminal illness and their death can be expected within 6 months, you don't actually need to fill in most of the form. Under what's known as the special rules, you should get a medical certificate known as a DS1500 from your child's doctor and attach it to the claim form. If you've got a DS1500, you only need to complete some of the parts of the form, not the whole thing. And question 12 on the claim form makes clear which sections you'll still need to complete for a child claiming under the special rules for the terminally ill. There's also a number of questions on the form asking whether your child has recently been in hospital or residential care, as alongside questions asking about their nationality and the length of time that they've spent living in the UK. Normally, a child must have been in the UK for at least 26 weeks out of the previous 52 weeks in order to be paid DLA. However, different rules apply to children under the age of 3, those who are terminally ill, and to refugees. Some EU nationals are also exempt, as are some returning UK nationals coming back from an EU country. Seek specialist advice if you think any of these exceptions apply to your child. Now, if your child is someone who's subject to immigration control and has no recourse to public funds, you shouldn't claim DLA for them no matter how long they've been in the UK, unless a specialist immigration advisor says it's okay to do so. Trying to claim DLA for a child who's subject to immigration control can reduce their chances of being granted longer leave to remain in the UK, so you need to tread carefully. It's your child's immigration status that is important here when claiming DLA, not your status or the status of any partner you have. These initial pages also ask for details of the professionals who are involved in your child's care, such as a GP, any hospital consultants, or other health and social care professionals. It also asks about your child's school or nursery details. And you're asked if you'd like to submit any reports in support of your child's application. Now, reports from professionals can be really helpful when claiming DLA, particularly where they provide detailed descriptions of the help that your child needs. However, you should be sure only to send the DLA unit a copy of a report if you feel it's accurate and doesn't underestimate your child's difficulties. It's not a good idea to send a report if you disagree with it. For example, if you think it minimises your child's needs. So, for example, the form does ask you if your child has had an education, health and care plan or other types of education support plans, and if so, to send these along with the claim pack. Now, you are obliged to tell them if a plan of this type has been done, but you're not actually obliged to send the DWP a copy of the report if you disagree with the contents. So send the reports if you think they're accurate, but not if you disagree with them. You just need to be aware that the DLA unit might still contact the school or nursery directly in order to get a copy of these reports directly from them. The form also asks you to provide a statement from someone who knows the child well. Now, this section doesn't actually need to be filled in, but it is a good idea to try and get it completed if possible. Ideally, you should try and get it filled in by a professional who's got regular contact with your child. But if that's not feasible or possible, then anyone who knows your child well will do, even if it's a friend or a family member. Now, rather than asking the person to write their statement directly onto the form, we think it's a good idea to photocopy this page of the form and ask them to complete it separately so that you can then attach it to the claim. And the reason that's a good idea is for two main reasons. One, it will help reduce delays because you can get on with filling in the rest of the form while that person completes their part. And secondly, it will make it easier for them to amend the statement if you think there are major problems with what they've written. For example, they've missed out some important information or got it wrong. You can just give them another photocopy to complete. Question 33 asks you to explain if your child's needs are the same most of the time or whether they fluctuate. Now, if they fluctuate, you're asked to explain how this happens. For example, does it happen from day to day or change from week to week or month to month? Dealing with fluctuating conditions is undoubtedly one of the hardest parts of completing the form. When you come to complete the description of your child's needs, we recommend that you start by outlining what their needs are like on one of their bad days and then explain how this might differ on better days. Question 33 is trying to get an idea of how frequent these fluctuations in their needs are. As far as possible, try and average out how many days a week or weeks in a month that they have bad days in comparison with better days. However, if they still have some problems on better days, it's really important to make sure you spell this out so that the DWP know that these are not days when your child has no problems, rather they're simply days where the problems might be less severe than on bad days.